So I am currently in the process of doing some research, okay? And the reason that I went into this research was because I was just on the phone with my dad. And my dad asked me, "So, what's new with you?" And like, if you have spiritual parents, certain questions that your parents ask you actually triggers something within you. And it's not a bad thing unless you are not, on your healing journey. When you're on your healing journey, people are going to trigger you, okay? But it's not a bad thing that they trigger you, okay? It is like a test to see how far you are on your journey. So my dad asked me what's new. And I told my dad, I was like, I think I'm going through a spiritual activation. And he was like, what does that mean? So I'm sitting here and I'm like, he was like, I'm going to call you back. Like, as soon as I was getting ready to respond, he was like, I'm going to call you back. Which, for me, it makes me go into research mode, right? So when he calls me back, I can actually answer the question in a way that makes sense to me. Okay. So I'm doing my research, y'all, and this is what I come up with, right? So I was right. That's what I can say about that. I am going through a spiritual activation. And the terminology, the definition of a spiritual activation is described as a moment or process where a person becomes more aware of their inner self, purpose, or connection to something greater. Some signs that you're going through a spiritual activation. You have heightened awareness, meaning you sense things on a deeper level. This is when your intuition goes to a whole nother notch. Signs and synchronicities have deeper meanings. You experience an inner awakening where you start to question things. Okay, you question things and you have like a feeling that something needs to change. You experience energy shifts, which will make you feel more sensitive, emotional, creative, and more present in the moment. You begin to appreciate things differently. You get to have an inner understanding of something completely different. You become in alignment with a purpose. Meaning, you feel pulled to be more authentic. Like, speak your truth. Oh, you find purpose. And sometimes your purpose and a purpose can be two different things. You can feel like you're being drawn to something. That might not be your purpose, but it's a purpose. It's a calling. And it can lead you to your purpose. Okay? And the next sign that you may be experiencing a spiritual activation is that you're healing. You're releasing. You're letting things go. Whatever happened, whoever did it, you realize it all happened for a greater cause. You see the brighter side of things. It's not what they did. It's more about how can I see this from a higher perspective? What lesson did I truly need to learn? What was the purpose of me meeting a person or leaving that job or realizing certain people weren't authentic and truthful? This gets deep, okay? So it says an activation means your system is temporarily leaning towards alertness and sensitivity, which causes emotional releases, stress recovering, deep reflection, trauma healing, meditation, and you will experience life changes. And then it goes into when the nervous system becomes more sensitive. You feel more present. Gratitude. You just wake up and say, I'm grateful. And you just... Emotions surface more clearly. Dreams become more vivid. Sensations have meanings. And you're releasing old patterns. But others will say you're awakening. Your energy is moving. So it may be like if there was like a dark cloud, the dark cloud, the energy, the darkness is moving. Your spirit is steering. You're opening yourself up to things. So it says, when you experience spiritual experiences, your nervous system actually becomes more open, regulated, and aware. So you will notice every little thing. You will pay attention to every little thing, every little detail. So when people say, I can't remember my dreams, your nervous system is not okay. Technically, that's what that means. Because I hear a lot of people tell me, I don't remember my dreams. And now I understand why. You haven't been activated. You're still stressing about things that shouldn't be stressing you out. You're holding on to emotions that you have not released yet. That trauma, what they did to you, you're still holding on to it. You haven't learned how to be one with self. Meditation. That's what meditation is. Being able to be one with self. Part 2 is getting ready to come up. I got a little bit more information to give y'all. Stay tuned. All right, y'all. This is part 2. Okay. Now we're going to go into what a healthy spiritual activation is. Okay. When you are experiencing an activation and it's a healthy one, your clarity, you have more clarity in life. Your clarity increases. Okay? You have deeper compassion for other people. You're not pointing the finger. You're understanding. You're giving grace. Okay? Once you're experiencing a spiritual activation and it's a healthy one, you want to stay connected to people, to places, to things that are authentic, truthful. These are people who are peaceful. These are people who give you sound advice. These are people who are technically one with themselves and one with the Most High God. And that is going to show you where other people are on their journey when you're having conversations with certain people. Okay? Because you can't talk about spiritual stuff with everybody, but when there are individuals who are on their spiritual journey and they give sound advice, those people most likely they are in their word. They're going to give you some word, okay? So if you're not ready to hear what the Most High God has to say, be mindful of going to talk to someone who is one with God, who has a sound mind, okay? But the goal of a spiritual activation is to integrate everything you have experienced. Will it be intense? Most definitely. Will you feel like you're all over the place? Most definitely. Will you experience rejection, disappointment? Most definitely. So, integration means your nervous system learns that all of these things I was just talking about in part 1, your nervous system is saying it's okay. Nothing is wrong. You're good. You're elevating. You're evolving. You're growing. And that's the whole purpose of being activated. So what I have learned is that I activate things. And the only reason that I activate things is because my parent activates things. The saying that's coming to my mind is the apple don't fall too far from the tree. So my teacher is a good teacher. My parent is a good parent because he's doing his job. He's supposed to activate me. Your parent is supposed to activate you to another level. They're supposed to elevate you, expand you. Whew. So if you are experiencing any of these signs, congratulations. You're on the right path. And that is just something that I have to remind myself. Congratulations. You're on the right path. And that path is now in the Most High God's hand. And you have to trust that God knows what He's doing. Okay. So, with that being said, welcome to your next level. You have been activated. And you're welcome. Okay? You're welcome. So until next time, it's always peace, blessings, and namaste.